Hey, everyone, and what is going on? Welcome back to Extreme Bronco Live here on Super Bowl Sunday. What do you think about that? We're like the only two or three people on the internet right now, right?
We got someone watching.
Someone's watching. Thank you, whoever it is, for
Yes.
watching. So, Gavin and I, we did not want to miss a stream. So here we are. It's Super Bowl night. I realize most everyone's going to be tonight, but hey, on a replay, you can check this out anytime. What are we going to talk about today, Gavin?
The Bronco Raptor and the Everglades.
Okay, cool. So we are going to I think we're going to put together a really good video on the Raptor. I've been kind of late to the party. I was kind of watching out for all the Raptor videos. Like, I was afraid to leave my house the one day when the reveal, because the videos were everywhere. And I've been letting it marinate to the point of, do I really like the Raptor Bronco? And you know what the answer to that is? Yes. So we've expressed to our
Yes.
dealer an interest in getting a Bronco Raptor. I will tell you, that's sort of like a lottery. There's a lot of stuff that's mixed in with that, and I'm not going to get in a bidding war on one. So we'll see how it plays out. But I did express an interest because the Code Orange Bronco Raptor is a pretty awesome vehicle. Bronco 78, what is going on? So yeah, I didn't want to miss a stream, so here we are, and you know what? We're going to enjoy the 30 to 45 minutes, whatever we have. I think we have Gavin for like what, 30?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your thought on the Bronco Raptor before we jump into the Everglades?
First of all, the color. Is that rich red?
No, that is called Code Orange.
Mm.
Even though it looks kind of red at a glance, but it's Code Orange. Well, at least, look, they're going to have multiple colors. But the one that you're seeing kind of at the Chicago Auto Show, if you've seen that, or out at King of Hammers, that's Code Orange. Have you seen the seatbelts?
Yeah, they're Code Orange too.
Yep.
Well, that's an option.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because even like the blue interior is not going to be standard, so they are going to offer a marine grade, all black, marine grade. And then they're going to have the upgraded interior. So if you notice, the price starts at like $69,550 or $890 or whatever. It's $69,000 and some change. And as you start to add stuff to it, and I think the stuff that you add on a Raptor, at least from what I've been able to gather, it's a lot of the creature comforts and stuff inside. So how did you like that interior that they had, sort of that suede look?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think, would we do that or a marine grade? Because marine grade's like low maintenance.
Yeah. Because we've had a couple spills on marine grade.
Bronco 78 saying, yeah, the orange doesn't really come through on the camera that well. I can imagine when you see that color, like right in front of you, it's like Area 51, even Eruption Green. I'll tell you, there's a lot of people. We talked to someone today, or my wife talked to someone today that she went to a store and they were talking about the Eruption Green, and they were saying how they liked it online, but how much more, I don't know, had a little bit more of that yellowish gold in it in person than they could see in the pictures. And I said, that's like everything else. You're only going to see so much in photography. But Nurse AJ, hello, how are you? But the Code Orange is smoking hot, if you ask me. The little accents that they put inside the Raptor, but the business with the Raptor is really in the suspension and the engine. And I guess they're gonna announce more about the engine. The engine. One thing that I thought was interesting, we did the video back on November the 10th, and someone asked me what, it's common knowledge going to be the 3.0. A lot of people was thinking that, but I went into the math of why I thought it would be. But in particular, I said if I was building the engines, I would start with a 2.7 block CGI, and I would go from there. Remember that?
Yeah.
And because I've just felt like that the strength of the CGI was right in line with probably where they'd want to be. And I think the 3.5, the reason why they didn't do the 3.5 engine, like in the F-150 Raptor, probably has something to do with manufacturing. Maybe the way they're set up there at MAP, maybe there's something about that engine that wasn't easy. They weren't able to integrate it into the line, because the Raptors are going to be built on the same line as our Broncos were.
Yeah.
They're going to do some funny stuff with the suspension to hold it down low, but it's pretty cool. So During the Super Bowl, I know. Look, I figured there was someone out there that didn't want to watch it, and that if you weren't watching, that we could do it on the replay. So if you want to watch the Super Bowl, totally get it. I appreciate whoever's here though, because it's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
The thing about streaming live is, yes, live is when we're talking about it, interacting, but check it out anytime. So yeah, so struggling with those fenders. Someone posted a picture today of some like a bodybuilder, and they were saying it reminded them of that.
Those fenders are weird.
Well, here's the thing: they're growing on me, okay? And I think that's going to be. What do you think they'll grow on you? You think you'll warm up to them?
Mm-mm.
You don't like them, seriously?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, have it here first. Gavin and I normally agree on everything Bronco, but I actually am. I didn't at first. It's not that I didn't like them. I just didn't jump, on the bandwagon, so to speak. But it's starting to grow, man. I actually like it.
So I have a question
yeah.
about Super Bowl. Well, when is halftime? Because I always want to see the halftime shows.
Yeah, well, who knows? Hey, what time? I mean, I haven't been.
It started at 6.
It started at 6. So I guess where are we? 8:06. So who knows where we're at? Nurse AJ said, yeah, watch it for the commercials and the halftime show. Yeah, I used to watch football.
Oh, it's now. Dang it. No, I'll watch it.
You'll watch it later. Yeah, I used to watch football a lot, and a couple years ago it just turned kind of sour with me, and I just whatever. But I figured if you didn't want to watch the Super Bowl, hey, we're here. We should have we should have done tonight throwing a football around here. But anyway, I want to talk about the Bronco Raptor because I'm starting to warm up to it. I did show interest at the dealer. I did tell them that I would love the opportunity, but I'm not interested in the bidding war. So what does that mean? That means I probably won't see one, or at least for a couple of years. The Everglades, I'm not quite sure how long they're going to build that. Could that be a one model year thing or a couple, 3 years? I think that might be more limited in production time than say a Raptor, because the Raptor is sort of that Shelby Mustang, kind of in relation to the Mustang, or Raptor F-150 when it comes to the F-150s. And yeah, this is the first NFL I watched in 5 years. Yeah, that's the halftimes now. All right, well, cool. So yeah, I used to compete with on Sunday nights with Yellowstone. I figured that was bad enough. The Super Bowl was just kind of like heck. But seriously, 37-inch tires from the factory on the Raptor. The Raptor is 8.2 inches wider in the front, 8.6 in the rear than the standard Bronco. Now, when I say standard, when you hear the term base Bronco, they mean every trim level other than the Bronco Raptor or the Raptor Bronco. How are we going to say that? Bronco Raptor or Raptor Bronco? I say it's Raptor Bronco. Like Badlands Bronco, Wild Track Bronco. So I guess it's the trim first. And but when I was looking at the videos today with the suspension and all the new parts, so like the bump stops, there's 2 bump stops, one up in the top of the Fox shocks, and then one on between the frame and the, I guess, lower control arm. It's kind of hard when you're looking at the empty chassis. Gavin, have you seen did you see where they had yellow and blue on the chassis kind of sitting there?
Yeah.
So the yellow was new components, suspension components on the Bronco that's unique to Raptor, and blue was unique to the structure of the frame. So you saw quite a bit of it. They have the hitch on the back where it can tow up to 4,500 pounds now, and then they actually have a goat mode for towing. And then like I said, the extra bump stops. But when you're looking at that empty chassis, it looks like you have a lot of room in the suspension, but that's because there's no engine, transmission, body on it. So obviously that stuff, squats down. So I can't wait to see one that's completely built that you have a really good view from there. Chris Byrne, hey, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, we're trying to bring the stuff each and every week, and we'll see. Tonight's kind of a short live stream tonight because of the Super Bowl, and we just didn't want to miss a night. What is that? Oh, it's a sticker there. Yeah. The Raptor will be here for a long time. I think you're right. I do think you're right. Yeah, I'm wondering too if if they don't try to do something different. Now, the reason why the fenders are the way they are is because they needed to build this Bronco at map. You know, the facility there, how everything is set up, it had to run down the same line. I even think the engine choice was based on that. The height of it, you know, they have to do some different stuff with the suspension, and then they have to roll it to the mod shop and then kind of raise it back up and let it go from there. So there's a lot of thought that went into it. Now, the one thing, you know, I don't think the engineers at Ford get enough credit for all of the wonders that they do. I mean, we've got this Bronco. A couple years ago, we didn't have it, but we have this thing, and most people that have them like them. They like the way they ride. They like the way they perform. And I know we're happy with ours. So, I mean, show the engineers some love, because they've built one heck of a vehicle, and then the Raptor on top of that. I mean, that's. But look, at first I didn't jump on the Raptor bandwagon, but the more I read about it and the more I learn about it, the more I really, really like it. So, Gavin, what do you think about it? So from that kid's perspective, what do you think?
It's pretty cool, obviously.
What do you like about it? Tell me.
First of all, the color I really I really like that, and I would love to see that on, and like you could be able to. You'll probably be able to wrap your Bronco like that, but
you could, but it wouldn't be like
no,
it would be the OG code orange.
And I also like the 37s. You're the boss of the road, and if you think the 35s are loud on the road, they're like the 37s are gonna be like
a lot of noise, a lot of tire. What do you think about that exoskeleton on the rear? Exo. What did I say? Exo.
And
I keep thinking about the Ghostbusters. What is that? Ecto. That's different. Never mind.
So Jeffrey Babb, any new info on Ice Mountain? I haven't heard any.
No, I think the only thing that's, well, you know, of course, we don't get updates every day. I've seen some pictures. At least most of the snow is melted. But
might be going down to Dirt Mountain again.
Yeah, but no, this forever be known as Ice Mountain. So chips, I have no idea. I think what'll happen is you'll see a lot of them move out, and then that'll be the story. You'll see pictures of a lot of them, just like with Dirt Mountain. You know, when a lot of Broncos started moving out of there and people could see the pile was getting lower, you know, then that's when the news hit. So any day now, hopefully they'll have a release with some chips and, you know, get it going again. So you'll know if the chips aren't rolling in, if there's any more plant shutdowns, because they can only store so many there.
Yeah.
Right. So that becomes the problem, is you're building them, parking them. And at some point you run out of room to park them. Right.
How big are the chips?
I don't know. Semiconductors they're different. You know, it's not just one chip. It's different ones. Depends on the trim, the vehicle. It depends on a lot of stuff. I am not the chip expert. Say that a couple times.
Chip expert.
But I you know, I know it takes a little bit of time, right? You having fun there, dude?
Chip expert.
Yeah. So, hey, who saw the video that we put out about the MIC top popping and stuff like that? If anyone's seen it, hopefully that was helpful. I know it was to us. Becky said today, she goes, "Hey, just FYI, no noise, still working great. Thank you again." So make your wife happy. You know, happy wife, happy life, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, no, she's really happy with it, and she was grateful that no more noises and stuff like that. So, but hopefully everyone saw it, and if you didn't, maybe check it out. If you have a hard top or have a friend with one, kind of know what to do. We'll see where it goes from there. Yeah, and thank you, Bronco 78. Yeah, so far easy, and it works. So, but that's been about it over the last few days. We were trying to get 2 more videos out this week, but we weren't able to get them done. Oh, the dogs are barking. Go see who's at the door. The Everglades Bronco. So let me pull up something here. Now, there's a lot better pictures out there now, because this was the Everglades Bronco that had the camouflage wrap on it. See if I can pull this up here. But I want to talk about this really quick. Now, obviously, there's a lot better pictures now. There's even the added color. I think it's called Desert Sand. But you know, you don't have the the wrap on them now. They've released it, revealed it. It's pretty cool. I wanted to get Gavin's opinion on this.
What?
So you like the color, obviously the eruption green.
Yeah.
Right. And Jeffrey Babb, thanks for that. I just saw your comment. And Chris Byrne, thank you very much as well. So what do you think about the wheels? They're kind of retro, right?
It's like an upgraded version of Steely's.
So what Ford did, see if we can dance around here. So you see the ring and bar signature lights in the front, the LED. So you got the ring and bar, and of course that the bar lights up amber when you have your signal on. But right now this would be in sort of the running mode, headlights on, running mode. They've blacked out the Bronco there. Oh, easy, buddy. They've blacked out the Bronco in the front, so that's unique. Let's see what else. It's a Badlands grill. What else did they change in this here? No, the snorkel's different, and that's to bring in it's also reversible as far as the air intake. So this right here would be air intake for. You can't see the mouse on this screen share, but the opening facing the front of the vehicle would be for clean air. If you're in a dirty air situation, you would reverse the panels on that snorkel. So the solid cover would go in the front and the vented would go on the back. And that's for that, really dirty, dusty, type conditions as well. I think
like Baja.
Yeah, like Baja. Right. Exactly. And then
you wouldn't really need a snorkel for Baja though.
No. So our Bronco, our Badlands Bronco, we can pretty much, the water treading is about 33.5 inches. This is about 36. I think it's like 35 point something. So let's just say 36 inches. That's pretty good. All right, man. You all right? Let's see here. Let's go to the next picture here if we can. All right. It's just another picture. Like I said, I need to get some new pictures on here, obviously with the video and stuff like that. And the wheels, though, the wheels are pretty awesome. They're kind of a retro design on the wheels. Overlanding for Fun. Hello. How are you? Nice to chat with you here this evening, and congratulations! You hit a milestone on your YouTube channel this week or weekend, I think it was. So awesome for that! Congratulations! And I'm sure everyone here knows Overlanding for Fun, but if you haven't watched his YouTube channel, great content. Head on over, hit likes on the video, subscribe to his channel. There's a lot of good stuff there. So yeah, no. I couldn't compete with the halftime edition, but I was trying to think, well, what could we do? No, let's not do that. We need to do a commercial next year. We need to do a really cool commercial and just run it all over the internet, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of scary going against the Super Bowl, but for those that didn't want to watch it or want to watch it, later this week, here we are. I did not want to miss a night. I think we even have it figured when we go on vacation this summer, we'll be live streaming from Florida. We already have all that set up, so that'll be cool, right? From good old Madeira Beach, Florida. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
We need to drive a Bronco there.
Yeah, Bronco 78. This is a true halftime show. Thanks. Appreciate that. Squared off. Yeah, so the squared off flares help the Everglades stand out quite a bit. I would agree with that. Now, I can't remember who it was. I love giving credit where credit's due. I was watching something today, and there was a review of this Everglades Bronco. And what this guy was saying, that they like the rounded fender wells, like what we have on our Bronco. But he's glad that they didn't do the rounded fender wells on all of the Broncos because of the competition. They have sort of that squared off look, and it really doesn't delineate it or doesn't change it from the competition there. But I think that with the Everglades and even the Raptor, that you've got to do something different, right? Mm-hmm. So it's got to be a little bit different. What are the chances that all of the Broncos go to this type fender in a couple, 3 years? Do you think there's a possibility on that?
There's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, so anything's possible, right? So that just might happen. Get through a couple more of these. We went through, like I said, I need to upload some new pictures because these are just kind of standard. Like, let's go back. So we're going to be doing a Raptor video, which is like, okay, another Raptor video, but I want to try to do a little bit different angle on this, like we typically do. Yeah. And for those of you, that I had a couple comments about the top video was 18 minutes, and I was like, well, I was just kind of showing the process, but yeah, sure, the fix takes 5. But in the Bronco Raptor video, it's going to take a little bit longer because I want to talk about some of the stuff that's not being really discussed. And so we'll see if we can cover that. The Everglades Bronco is cool. I like the idea of the snorkel. I really like the idea of the factory winch. It probably is not a trim for us. I don't know right now. I mean, it's cool looking, it's great, but it's not a trim for us. I don't know why they kept a 2.3 only in it, which nothing against 2.3 at all. We're just, the 2.7 fans. So I don't know. I don't know why the 2.3 is in there. Maybe, someone has knowledge of that and something that I haven't read in the Everglades.
Oh, that's weird.
It comes with, you can only get it with a 2.3. Now, is it an availability thing, a commodity thing? It's like you're going to offer one more trim, but you don't want one more trim that's going to kind of take up. Yeah, I don't know. It is Sasquatch. It's custom wheel. And they extended the axle, the differential, transfer case, and transmission vents up a little bit higher. And that's how you're able to tread through that 3.5 or about 3 inches of water, I should say, extra over the regular Badlands. Well, over the regular Sasquatch, got nothing to do with it. So a Badlands Sasquatch is 33 and some change. So I guess any Bronco trim with Sasquatch is about that. So the Everglades, you can go through 3 more inches of water and not flood the differentials, transmission, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to drive through 3 feet of water?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. John, I think it is, believe it's a 2.3 in the automatic. Yep. Yeah, which is, I guess because of the conditions in the weather, maybe the manual, they didn't want to do that.
Hear that?
Yeah, every once in a while we get a little feedback.
And they go beep.
I don't think they can hear it. But we get a little feedback on this end. Who knows? All these LED lights we have in here. I'm afraid what we got going on. But are you all right, man?
I don't know.
Would definitely be good to hear a little different info on the Raptor instead. Yeah, the reviews are sort of the same, especially the ones that all came out on day one. Those are videos that were done. Obviously, people were given a chance to review it, and if you listen hard enough or close enough, there's a few things in there that wasn't exactly. I don't think totally accurate. No big deal. I mean, stuff happens, but I want to kind of look at it from a way of more of the mechanical side, if we can figure out. And there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been released. So, for example, it's a 3.0. We know that. We know it's CGI block, but did they take a 2.7 and modify it? Or did they cast a completely new block? What do you think they did, sir?
The block.
New or modified 2.7?
No.
All right. So I say modified 2.7 is what I think. Let's see what we got here. Super Bowl halftime shows. Hey, George, thanks. Well, I'm glad we can be the alternative to that. And by the way, I haven't even turned on the TV, believe it or not. Who's winning? Somebody tell me the score.
Yeah.
And Dirk, the mid package. Yes, I think that is correct. I try to remember on that. Today I've been really absorbing this Everglades and Raptor stuff at the same time, and I have to kind of separate them because now I'm starting to, and I think that's what someone else did. They were reviewing at Chicago, and they did the 2 right after each other, and they mistakenly said the Everglades had 4,500 pound towing. I'm like, that's only the Raptor. But anyway, have you seen the hitch on the Raptor?
No.
So I think it's a class 3. So they went up from what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And they also added some supports that go to one of the other frame rails. So they've actually reinforced that entire area. And that's, to pull a little bit, 1,000 pounds more, they've had to add some more structure in there. And so if you look at that chassis video, the blue and yellow are the added components unique to Raptor. you'll see that hitch in the back is blue, and you'll see the long braces that go up there. It's pretty cool. Let me plug this in over here. What is the 3.0 that they've been putting in the Explorer? So the 3.0 in the Explorer is all aluminum. It's, of course, EcoBoost, but it's all aluminum. I don't know the oil pump if it's, I want to say that one is crank driven, whereas the 2.7, of course, is variable volume or variable capacity belt driven. But the block supposedly in the Raptor is a CGI like the 2.7. So, you know, the 2.3 is all aluminum. 2.7 is part CGI, part aluminum, but the 3.0 in the Explorer is all aluminum. So, you know, I think that's a cool factor too. You know, that there you sort of have the Raptor is going to have this unique engine in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like any other model. Yeah. Which one do you want? Badlands or Raptor? And you're not having to pay for it.
So, Raptor, but put different fenders on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I would change. And that's what
you mean the fender flares?
Yeah,
because they're different. They're different fenders because they're not rounded. They're sort of that, and they're not even. They're like a hybrid between like the round and square.
There's like vents on them.
There's vents in the front fenders.
I don't really like.
You don't like those?
No.
Let's get rid of the heat. It's active vents in the hood, and you have the sort of the gills on the side.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like those?
Mm-mm.
What do you think about Ford written in the grill versus Bronco?
I like Bronco better.
Yeah, but you know the Raptor grill,
the Raptor has Ford written on it,
and that's what they're kind of do. They're trying to keep it from like the F-150.
Yeah,
they're trying to keep a lot of
like Ford.
Absolutely.
And the original Bronco has one Ford logo, and it's on the back swing gate.
That's why he's my co-host. You're right.
Because it's on the grill. It's all over the back.
Windshield.
And the thing on the windshield.
Here, give it to him. Good job.
So I'm going to get off 3 minutes early because I want to watch the Super Bowl. Because I'm
you want to watch left of it? You're going to leave me? Come on, man.
3 minutes early.
Huh?
3 minutes early.
3 minutes early.
So I really want to see who's winning.
Yeah, you want to see who's winning. So hey, all about the Bronco. So Gavin brought up a very good point. If you look at our Broncos now, if you have a Bronco, a sixth-generation Bronco, there's one, I guess, significant place you'll see Ford on the trim, and that's on the back swing gate. That's a very good observation. Yeah. So everywhere else says Bronco, where the Raptor's a little bit different. So that's interesting. Why do you think they did that? Sub-brand, right? I know why they did it. If you look at Bronco becoming a sub-brand or is a sub-brand, you have the Sport 2-door, 4-door, and then on the Mustang side, you have the Mustang and the Mach-E. Mm-hmm. And then the F-Series, you have, everybody knows about the F-Series.
F-150, F-250, 350, 450,
Tremor, Raptor.
Yeah. And they had the 650, that big old truck. I don't know
but now you're starting to get like, that's like industrial stuff.
Yeah.
But you're right. So you have all the F-Series, so that's the sub-brand. So I think they're doing it to delineate the brands, right? Mm-hmm. So the sub-brand, so the Bronco sub-brand, the F-150, the Mustang. But I thought that was pretty cool that the big Ford logos or the Ford letters on the grill. I thought that was interesting. What else about it before you go? You like the amber lights?
Yeah.
The 3 amber lights. They have. You know why they do that?
Why?
Because there's a width requirement once a vehicle gets so wide, and I don't know the width on that. Once it gets so wide, they have to add the extra side marker lights, the 3 lights in the back, and don't worry about that. And then also the 3 lights up in the grill. The other thing that I was going to mention was, hold on, Gavin. What was the other thing I was going to mention about the Raptor? There was something else about it. And what did you talked about the lights, the fender flares,
the grill.
There was something else.
The interior.
No, it wasn't about the interior. It was more like, you have the 37-inch tires and, of course, the Dana 50 versus the Dana 44 differential. We have the Dana 44, I guess the Dana 50. It still has the 10R60 transmission, the new 3.0, but we haven't really gotten any details on that, which I still think it's going to be like 460, 470-ish horsepower, over 500 torque.
All right, everybody.
Are you ready to go, buddy?
I'm out. I made it to 30.
Oh, in 5 seconds. All right.
10 now.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye, everybody. Good night.
All right. Say 80, 85. Let's see, Broncos. Bronco Raptors coming out for Ranger Raptors coming out for 23. Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. Well, there extends that Raptor thing. Hey, Chris. Sorry, is 85? Is that? Are you talking about like the width of it that requires the extra marking? I don't. If that's what you're talking about. Hey, overlanding for fun. I'll let Gavin know that. Thank you very much. They're sticking the Raptor line on the Raptor. Yep. So yeah. Thanks, Nurse AJ. Thanks. Yeah, Gavin, he wanted to go see a little bit of it. I'm not really about that yet. Hey, and by the way, I'm going to jump all over the thing here. I just washed all of the salt and everything off which I really hate driving my Bronco in that. I don't care if it gets dirty. Salt's an entirely different animal, but we had it clean yesterday, and Becky and I enjoyed a great day in 72-degree weather, and we have ice falling outside right now. So it's like, yeah, you never know, but got to keep it clean. But yeah, as far as this Bronco, the Raptor is concerned, it's starting to grow on me. Like I said, enough that I've expressed interest, but I am not holding my breath that I'll get one at least anytime soon, because I'm not going to get into that whole thing. Yeah. So your Excursion's 80 inches wide and the Raptor is wider than, yeah. So I know if you take the Bronco now, Sasquatch, it's 8.2 wider in the front and 8.6 in the rear. That's significant. I'm thinking about my garage, and where I park one of my Broncos now is barely fits in there width-wise. So I'd have to do a little bit of reconstruction, get a Raptor in there. But I think we're Broncoed out right now. We're going to enjoy what we have, and we're very grateful. Trust me. But it is that new thing, that new shiny, shiny squirrel kind of thing. But as far as any modifications, stuff like that, we're going to start to ease into this. We are going to start loading up on some off-road gear so that we can go to the Outer Banks. We keep saying we're going. Every time we go, there's like snow or wind. So one of these weekends, it's going to be 70. Coming up real soon. I mean, it starts to like next month. We'll start having those days on a more regular basis, but we have to be ready for it, because Becky wanted to go the last minute. And I said, I would hate, especially having this channel, to go unprepared and to get stuck and not have everything you need. So we're not going until we get everything. So we're going to be loading up on that kind of stuff, so we can properly air down, air up, also for traction, towing and stuff like that. So this week is all about getting our stuff together so that we can go enjoy the beach and really get to try the Bronco out and get it dirty somewhere other than snow-covered roads, which is fun by itself, right? So anything that we want to cover tonight, because we are going to make tonight a little bit shorter, being that it is the Super Bowl, and hey, we'll go from there. If there's any other thing about a Bronco they have any questions about, and we need to kind of research it, check it out. I want to contribute to this thing. Anything out there that we can help with, aftermarket stuff like that. Researching. We had a company reach out to us this week, and they expressed interest in giving us components to do a little R&D with. So who knows if something pans out with that, we'll be working with some Bronco accessories to kind of try out and see how does it work, and obviously video it and be, straight up, whether you like it or not. And here's what it needs to make it better, or no, it's spot on. Let's roll with it. So hopefully that'll pan out and we'll be able to go from there. So, as far as the Bronco accessories are concerned, we're going to be slow to get into that. And the main thing is going to be go out and run what we have right now on the beach, see how we like it. That'll sort of be the benchmark. And then everything we do from there, we can tell how much better, or in some cases, not, maybe it's not as good. And so you go back and you change back to factory stuff. But, the Bronco's awesome the way it is. I like it. And I've done enough wrenching on vehicles in the past. I don't know if I want to keep doing that. So Anyway, we'll go from there. Let's see. What's every trim? Let's see. I'm sorry, reading John here. Why the trim wise the Raptor is in orange. So that's sort of that unique thing, that code orange seatbelt stitching. Of course, they've added in the upper interior trim levels, they've added the blue, sort of that blue dash in there. It's the center. Let's see, where the armrest is, the center console lid is blue, and then the sides of that's black. So they've mixed it up a little bit. I'm not a huge blue interior fan, but it's I mean, it's cool, especially with the seats, the suede, like the forget what type of suede seat they call it, but it has a Raptor, and it's pretty cool. Now, I would probably go marine gray just because I love the MGV interior. Um, I mean, we have it in ours, and we like the way it looks, we like the way it feels. I do know someone says it's really hot in the summer. Hey, I was in southern Texas in June, and if we didn't fry, to the seat, then it was pretty safe to say where I'm at now, we're going to like it. And, it was not bad at all. But as far as the Raptor trim, getting back to your question, John, that is, that's just, especially right now too. I mean, that's all you're really seeing. I remember when they started parading the Bronco, one of the most popular colors you ever saw was cyber orange, because it was the really good for marketing. It was loud. It just kind of jumps out there. It was a good looking color too. Code orange on the Raptor is just so much different because you can get the other colors in it as well. But I just know as far as the orange stitching is concerned, it's sort of that unique thing, and it just helps to sell the difference between the Raptor and the other trims. But of course, that's surface stuff. The deal with the Raptor is the engine and the suspension and the capabilities there. Let's go back here. Let's see here. What we got here? Overlanded for fun. Bronco, what did you see? That is one of the few videos that ATN does that I haven't seen yet. I will be checking it out. I've been really, and I just want to stop and just like pay attention to it, because apparently from what I heard, just a couple of people talking about it, it's an eye opener. I can't wait to watch it though, and I'll probably watch it tomorrow. I've been inundated with Everglades and Raptor over this weekend, including washing the salt off of my Broncos here. Let's see. They should color match the body with the interior accents. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think early on they thought about that trim cover. What's the urban green? I think is going to be in the Everglades, and then you have I call it cyber orange. I guess that's the official color of the interior on the Badlands, or the orange or orangish yellow. And then you have the blue. You have a brown. I forget what else that you have, but I mean, some people have said, well, if I have a red Bronco with blue trim, I'm just lucky that I like the Badlands orange. So it would, it kind of works for me. I'm not really worried about the other trim, even though if I looked at buying one, would I like it? The parts are interchangeable as well. So you can change a lot of that stuff out and make it, whatever you want. Let's see, other than color match. Yeah, and the other thing is that I really think, I really think that, and we'll get to the sun visor in a minute. I really think that they're really trying to stand out from everyone else with all these small accent colors. And look, I'm on board with it enough to say, hey, I like it in ours, and I'm really, if they change the color up a little bit, it wouldn't bother me at all, right? Now I can tell you the code orange is just cool. I just like it. I've always liked orange. My Area 51 would probably be orange, other than cyber orange, because cyber orange is cool. Don't get me wrong, but I was looking at more of that orange, right? Like code orange or orange, I would say, sort of that 60s, 70s orange. I would have done that in a Bronco in a minute. But I don't think my wife would have liked that. Now, I like the Area 51, don't get me wrong, but between the two, it would have probably been orange. So sun visor, I have not. Now that we have the two Broncos in the same garage, we started the other day measuring some stuff, and it's kind of funny when we do this video, you're going to see differences between the two. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know. First of all, we have to measure, then we have to figure out why, if we can even figure out why. But for example, for those of you who don't know, in my 21, the sun visor on the driver's side hits the rearview mirror. If you're trying to, put it up against the windshield, it actually hits maybe a quarter of an inch of it overlaps. And there's probably a half-inch clearance in the 22. So what we have to do is simply just start measuring. I mean, visually, if you just sit there and look at it, you can't tell. We need to start measuring points between the A-pillar and, the one side of it, the other side of it, and figure that out. It's not a huge deal for me at all, but I do want to figure out what it is. And hey, do a video on that as well. Because right now we've just shared it with a few people. Overlanding for Fun, for example, we've talked about it here. But just try it out. And I just want to know what's different. I also want to know why the 22 is a quarter inch higher than the 21. I'm sure there's something there. It could be because one had 400 miles on it, one had 2,000 miles on it. And maybe there's a little bit of settling there in the springs. And maybe we had more gas in the Area 51 than we did the 21 versus the 22. So we're going to do a controlled test when we get about the same amount of miles on it, because the Eruption Green Bronco, the 22, will catch the 21 in mileage in probably 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. So that's kind of crazy. We got that one at the end of September, and we have this one for, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks now. Time flies, we're having fun. So you can tell which one's getting driven the most. Yeah, so John, you don't like the orange seat belts. So they are loud. I think though, in something like the Raptor, I wouldn't be shocked if in certain trims they added, red later with black stitching or something like that. It's that really that standout look for that standout trim. And I think that's kind of the goal, is you want it to pop. You want people to, obviously you're going to see that Bronco because it's a lot wider, a lot taller. It's a lot more intimidating looking, actually. So what do you think on the horsepower? I'd love to see comments on that. What do you think the horsepower on the Raptor is going to be? I personally think somewhere, and I give these ranges a couple times, different numbers, but ultimately, my lowest range is 440 and the highest range is 485. For some reason, 465 is like in here bouncing around. So we'll see where it is, but I'd love to know the idea. Just under 450. Thanks for that, Bronco 78. I like I said, that would be toward that lower end of where I'm thinking, but they're saying 400 plus and then over 400. I'm hearing the different terminologies, near 400, over 400, 400 plus. So it's obviously going to be higher than that, but how much higher? You might be spot on at 450, 440, 450. So I think we're all like right in there. So I don't know why it just feels like a 465. So we'll see who's right. Not that it matters, but it's kind of cool to guess at it and try to figure it out. Who knows? Maybe it's even at the upper end of that range, which is less likely. But that 480, 485 number would be pretty stout. I mean, it really would. And I think it'd probably be lower than that. You also have to think about horsepower and torque. So if you look at a vehicle, I have a 66 Mustang GT that has 500 and I think 82 horsepower at the flywheel. That's strong, right? And especially for naturally aspirated Burns Cam 2, high compression, it's just the old hot rod engine though. But that car is a lot different because on the interior wise, it's pretty much gutted. I mean, there's you have dash seats, you have carpet, but I mean, a lot of the insulating panels are out. It's a small fuel cell in it. There's just a lot of little things out of the car. Um, 400 or just shy of 600 horsepower in that car will move it pretty quick compared to some cars at 700 horsepower, but they weigh so much more. So, how does the Bronco compare in weight? How does it compare in technology? So, you can have a big engine with a lot of horsepower, a lot of cubic inches, but you also have a lot of extra weight. How does that weight affect the dynamics of the suspension of the actual Bronco or the vehicle? And so if Jeep has this 392, and how does that compare to, even if the Bronco's short of their horsepower, but how much better does it perform because of its overall weight, wheelbase, suspension, which is, in my opinion, a lot better suspension. So a lot of the nuances with the Raptor, right? So I don't think we should be hung up just on the horsepower. I'm more concerned about torque anyway with off-roading. I mean, torque gets the job done type thing. But anyway, all of the other components between the Jeep and the Bronco, the Raptor, how do they work together? I personally think that the Raptor is going to outperform it, even if it's short on horsepower, just because the technology is modern and it's sort of not what we've had for years type thing. To minimize the chat, hit the like button. Yep. Thanks, Nurse AJ, for that. I do appreciate that. Yeah, and the like button. And also, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, I would greatly appreciate hit that subscribe button. Help us grow our channel. We're on a mission to get to 3,000, and we are going to get there. Not just because 3,000, but because we feel like when we get to that point, we can help a lot of other people with some of the small stuff, and hopefully entertain when we start doing this off-roading stuff. And that race that All Terrain Nation's been waiting for Becky and I to do their off-road. And so who knows? See what comes up with that. Have a 73 Dodge Dart Slant 6. Yeah, I have some Dodge friends, and they call that Slant 6 the Leaning Tower of Power. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, 100 horsepower. Gotta love it. I think that Leaning Tower of Power part might have just been a little joke. But they hot rodded everything they own, so who knows? Let's see. Let's see. Without the V8 sound, the 2.7. Yeah, and think about the Raptor exhaust. So you're going to be able to change the sound of the exhaust. It is true dual exhaust, which I really like. That really helps the engine right there by itself. But it's definitely going to be a more aggressive sound. I don't mind it in our Bronco at all, because look, I like the EcoBoost, period. Everyone knows I'm a Ford fan. Everyone knows I like the Bronco, but I like in the components of the EcoBoost and how they make power. I really like it. I did see one thing, by the way. I wanted to mention this. If you look at the specs on the Raptor 3.0, they call it direct injection, not dual injection. So that's very interesting. I would almost bet you if it just is direct injection, it's going to come factory with catch cans for the oil. So let's wait and see on that. I would bet you it's in there. I'm not a betting person, but if I was, yeah. But a V8 Bronco would be cool for that sound thing. But I think it's obvious we're past that point. But the weight versus horsepower, I really believe the EcoBoost beats out the competition based on that. And I know I'll get a lot of grief on it, but especially with these small spool turbos that are close to the engine, it helps get rid of that lag, and it helps to wind it up quick. What I like about the Raptor is how much air they're bringing in the engine. They're actually, when they release the data, the horsepower and torque on that engine, you're probably going to see the torque carry quite a bit. You're not going to see it drop off like most engines. It will carry it depending on where they're shooting for, but maybe at 4,000, 4,200 RPMs, you start to lose the torque, and the horsepower drops with it, obviously, but maybe not the same exact rate. I think the Raptor, you're going to see torque just carry forever. It's going to look like one of Tom Brady's passes, like, it's just going to be this long, probably arch. And that power band is going to be pretty big with that 3.0 because of the air that they're putting in that engine. If you've looked at the air box and the charged pipes, they're moving some air in that engine. So I can't wait to see. That's why I'm thinking 465-ish. They've got the components there for at least what you can see. Now, you really can't get into the meat and potatoes of that engine. You're just looking at the stuff on the surface. So let's see here. But I know our 2.7 is awesome. I have zero complaints whatsoever with the 2.7, and we're ecstatic with it. I have seen some videos. We're going to try to do one. When you cold start one, you hear some noises. The noises is between the wastegates open, cam phasers. It's not any concern. I mean, ours are consistent. When you crank it up, I think it's 1200 RPMs cold, it drops to 800, and then you hear the cam phasers change position. It drops from 800 to 600 RPMs, and that's when the engine, you notice, from 8 to 6 gets quiet like that. All of that is in the design. It's part of the EcoBoost valve training, exhaust, hot gas recirculation, waste gates. It's all part of that stuff mixed into there. But if you listen to it, it's going to be louder. Obviously, the 1200 cold start. And then when it drops to 1800, it's a lot quieter. But the instant it goes from 8 to 600, that is when you hear it all go away, because everything now is the timing is pulled back. The wastegates are closed unless you're building boost at that time. And then suddenly the engine is warm and it's ready for you to drive it and do your thing to it. So pretty interesting for all that little stuff there. Anyway, what else do we want to talk about here? Well, no more comments in there. So I think we are dwindling this down. Hey, look, I said 30 minutes. I told Gavin we're going to do 30 minutes tonight and, make it early night. Here we are at 52 minutes. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about before we head out? Any concerns, cool stuff, anything like that? I would like to know, before we go, how many people are planning on going to Supercell East, which is, I keep thinking it's forever from now, but it's actually right around the corner. It's in April. It's at the end of April, but still right around the corner. What is that? March. So 2 months away. Well, 2.5 months away. It'll be here before you know it, by the way. But I'd like to know who else is going, because I don't know if we're going to be able to get a booth there. We did check into that, but if not, we would definitely be there with our Broncos and kind of, enjoying the sights and sounds and checking out all the cool stuff in there. Yeah, Dirk, I don't know what part of the country you're in there, but it was from southeastern Virginia. I forget exactly how long it took us. Gavin and I, we didn't care. We just drove. We had fun. We went 2 different ways. Went through Virginia 81, and then we came back through North Carolina. So we got to mix it up a little bit. But it was a cool drive. But other than the wet, kind of cold temperatures, it's an awesome place in that East Tennessee area. It was very, very, very cool. So you're in Asheville. Hell, you're right there. I have, Asheville. So we were there at Biltmore years ago. Saw Alan Jackson there. It was pretty cool. They were in concert in Asheville and that weekend, and they happened to be touring there. It was pretty awesome experience. It's not every day you get to see someone like that. Let's see how had it out on there. Wow. Yeah. So I think the East Coast, southeastern Virginia, Bronco 78, I think a lot of people had good weather. I saw a lot of Bronco pictures being posted on Instagram and Facebook where, tops down, people cruising. So it looked like maybe at least Friday and Saturday. Today's not that day. Yeah. Last year was cold and wet. One morning we woke up and there was frost everywhere. And I had no idea it was going to be that cold, but this year it's going to be sunny, breezy, and 75. So that's my prediction. I'm not a weatherman, so who knows? All right, overlanding for fun. You're registered as a participant. Yep, I think it was, what was it, 75 a vehicle or something like that. Very, very affordable. Very good deal because they put on a great event, by the way. And I mean, we were there one time, so that was my benchmark, was once. But I looked at videos from Naturally Bronco were on their YouTube channel, and there's some really cool stuff over the years. And I think that where the show's going now, I think they added a supercell in Wisconsin. I think it was Wisconsin, and of course they have West. So this whole supercell celebration is growing, and it's pretty cool to see it because it was a cool deal. Let's see. Yep, I think it was, and I mean that's considered nothing for the cool factor of being there. So it's going to be fun. Yeah, staying around that area, it seems like there's now two big weddings and a big Bronco show, so it ought to be fun. We're gonna have some fun. Anyway, actually, this hat here I'm wearing came from a little shop between Townsend and Pigeon Forge, and so if you stay in Pigeon Forge, it's about a 30-minute drive, and it's a neat little drive. And there's a couple restaurants in there, and of course, these little pop-up shops and places to stop in and buy stuff. The advantage to staying in Pigeon Forge, if you're going to Townsend for Supercell, the advantage is there's more to do as far as restaurants and other than Bronco stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do there. But if you're going just for the event and you plan on, cooking yourself, then staying Airbnb cabin somewhere around Townsend is probably your best bet. I don't know if the hotels are full over there. I would imagine they're getting there. But it's a really cool place. Yeah, I visit my dealer. They keep trying. Uh-oh. Wow. Sorry to hear that, Kevin. Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people have learned in this Bronco experience is maybe the quality of the dealership. And no names, please, but it's like everywhere else. I deal with an outstanding dealer. Thank God they're in my area, but they're great in all ways. We did a video. We had the hill start assist warning go off, and it actually went off a month and a half ago. It went away. There was no other issues. There was no issue with the Bronco whatsoever. I just got on the Ford Pass app. I did get the initial little light on the dash. It went away. We made the appointment. Something came up. I had to cancel, made another appointment. It took them like literally, I think it took like 10 minutes to fix it, but they kept it for a lot longer, just checking other stuff, going through it. Just a really good deal. But we did a video on that. And I was just saying, if anyone experienced that, maybe, call your dealer and ask them what to do. But in our case, I called them. They said, hey, bring it in. We'll check it out. And free donuts. That was the advantage. So we had free Krispy Kreme donuts, which I try not to eat a lot of real sweet stuff, but man, that was just too good to pass up. So we got it reset. And what was really cool is when they reset it there, the instant that they did, it was gone off the Ford Pass app, because it held that in my codes and now it freed it up. So it's a really cool deal there. Hey, Chris, thank you very much for that super chat. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you can see the super chats help with this right here. We got a new mic. And if you've noticed, we haven't had that audio chaos going in a while. So I do appreciate that. And thank you for that. It helps. It goes right back into this channel and helping Gavin and I do some cool stuff. And you're welcome for the live chat. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Actually, I've said it probably every weekend. We look forward to this every Sunday night. That's why I was like, I know it's Super Bowl. I don't want to miss a live. We didn't book a guest because Super Bowl, right? But that's it. So, but yeah, as far as the dealer's concerned, yeah, that would Kevin, that would make me a little, I don't know. Look around, call around, see if there's anything that they can do for you. Yep, Jeffrey Babb. I say, I just hope I have my Bronco until then. It'll be March. Yeah. Well, who knows? The chip thing, if you see all the pictures up at MAP right now, the Broncos that are built just waiting on mostly chips. I'm sure there's some other small things in there. That's going to be a lot of people getting their Bronco very, very quickly. How fast do they make it on the transit system between truck and train? Who knows? I like the fact that if you're on an area that's getting your Bronco by rail, of course, the ending of that is going to be by truck, but the main trip being rail, it's actually loaded at map, from what I understand. Not unless I was told wrong, but I was told that there's a loading dock there at map, and so they just get them right on the train and send them down the road. So that's a pretty cool deal. And where we are in southeastern Virginia, it's about a 3-hour drive from where Norfolk Southern drops the cargo, at least vehicles. So once your vehicle's in Crewe, Virginia, at least in this area, you can have it in a day, 2 days, 3 days, depends on it depends on the load. And that's also most of Virginia, North Carolina, I've even seen them go through southeastern Virginia and up the eastern shore headed to Maryland, Baltimore area. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But I hope everybody gets their Bronco in a hurry. Someone posted today on one of the social media sites, someone's first day, first hour, whatever reservation. Like I say it all the time. I'm guilty of it. They waited, I want to say that they said 500 days. So I guess that's right? July. So 365 in a year. So I guess, they said they waited 525 days, I think it was. They said they drove away from the dealer and they just sat in it and they just took it all in. And I think the reality of this, the reserving, the ordering, the waiting, all of the little things, to me, added to the experience of getting the 21 when we got it. I remember Gavin and I, we were sitting in it and I'm thinking, man, this is crazy. Like I had to sit after we were finished with the dealer. I was like, well, I'm going to sit out here for a few minutes. I need to get acclimated. Completely different vehicle, anything I've ever driven. I mean, you get it and drive it down the road, but as far as where is everything, right? Making sure you're in the right mode, making sure that inadvertently you're not in 4-wheel drives. You don't want to do that on the asphalt. Where's the auto start stop? And, how do I program all those little bitty things? And so it does you good just to be left alone and just sit there and just experience that wow for the first time. And I think the Bronco, I've said it plenty of times for Gavin and I, it's one of the coolest things in the world, right? That when we start doing these trips and these outings, we're booking our 4th of July weekend now, and it will be 2 Broncos in the mountains off-road. And we're booking that now, and that's going to just be that cool, because typically every year we do the same thing. But that's what the Bronco's doing. It's taking us outside of that normal everyday thing. I do a lot of success coaching and stuff with fellow business owners and stuff. And part of the book Driven here was, well, you can't see it down here, but finding myself on the road to success is part of that waking up different. Driving to work, if you go to the same place every day, driving to work in a different route, maybe leaving a little different, listen to different type of music, read different content, whatever. And that really gets your brain like going. And this is something that there's so much to do in the Bronco, so many places to go, whether it's off-road or just road trips or the beach, or if you want to take yours in the mud, go for it. But I'm going to try to avoid mud bogs, but even though it will get muddy, across country, like there's so many different things. Going fishing in a place that you can only get to with ATVs or off-road vehicles. The sort of the list goes on. And part of that trip, I think Gavin and I are trying to document, is the journey, because I'm sure there's going to be, because him and I, we laugh like all the time. I think one of his friends made a comment. It's like, your dad's sort of like one of your friends, but just a lot taller. It's like, well, that's kind of the point in my eyes, but the Bronco thing is an extension of us just having a blast and going different places and doing different things. And so the Bronco, not to get on that rant, but the Bronco is it's just cool for us. You can have it do it in a Jeep, an Explorer. You can have any other vehicle and experience that type of stuff. With the Bronco, though, I really don't care that if we go somewhere and wish we could have drove on the beach, well, I can. Or we go to the mountains and I wish we could take that trail, well, I can. If the road has a little bit of water in it. And I know you're not supposed to drive through flooded roads, but what if, right? What if you're stranded? What are you going to do? You have a vehicle, if you get caught in a snowstorm, you have a vehicle that takes all of that, what you want to do, and just adds the ability to do more or to get you out of that little pickle. Anyway, well, that's it on the Bronco stuff. And let's go back through the comments here before we wrap it up. Bronco 78, it's about the destination, it's about the journey. Exactly. There needs to be a shirt like that. And look, I do mention that sometimes on here because, we get complacent. I know I used to get really complacent with stuff every single day. And some people are not ready to hear it, but at my age, you're ready to hear it. And you're like, okay, what can I do to remember every single day? And hey, you could probably do it in any vehicle, but a Bronco is just really, really cool getting there. I ordered on February 2nd, 2021 and got delivered to the dealer. Wow, Kevin, that's awesome. Yeah. So Kevin, tell me what trim you have again. And like, if you want to share that or the options and stuff, did you have tow, for example? What engine? It's interesting. Always interesting to find out. Oh, wow. So, Dawn and Rob took our first edition to King of the Hammers, had a blast. So let me ask you about that. When you go to King of Hammers, is it just way out in the middle of absolute nowhere, or is it just outside of a town? I mean, I could go on the internet and look it up, but just right here, right now, is it, the lodging? How far did you have to drive, or did you stay there on the tent area? I'd love to know more about that because maybe next year, we'll see. Yeah. Overlanding for Fun said he did the same thing. I went over to the state forest and just sat in the Bronco for 30, 45 minutes just to let it soak in. And isn't that cool? And I think you and I, we talked on our live stream when you were gracious enough to be our guest a few weeks ago. We talked about that. It's sort of that it's changing up what you're doing. You're getting away from all the same old rubber stamp stuff every day. Yes, it's just at the end of the day, it's just the vehicle. But man, is it not just a cool vehicle? It's awesome. Anyway, let's see. It's in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so I'm assuming you stayed there then, Dawn and Rob. We wanted to go this year. There was a little too much happening, but maybe next year it'll be a little more spread out for us. So we'll see. And then did you do any off-roading there, or did you just go as a spectator? Because I've seen some people, ripping it up there. Two-door Badlands, no tow, mid-back. Good deal. Yeah, there's a Cyber Orange two-door in Virginia Beach and Sasquatch, and that is one sharp looking. Of course, it's a MIC because it's a two-door, but it is a sharp looking vehicle. And the day I saw it, it was like partly cloudy. These vehicles look a little different, right? If it's cloudy and rainy, it's one way, and bright sun's another thing. But it was it was in a parking lot with just a lot of vehicles, and you could tell it. I mean, it just stood out from a distance in a good way. So that's a nice ride there, Kevin. Yep. And let's see. Oh, so Nurse AJ, so you got the two-door race red. Wow. Yeah. We were on the fence too. That the entire, for the 21, we talked about this a lot. I said it earlier. If there was an orange, I would have went orange, but, at one point we were really thinking race red, and I was sold on race red, and we went to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, to the Ford National show up there, and the Rapid Red that they had, Bronco Nation had it up there, was just amazing. It was clean. The flake in it was just shining, with the sun hitting it. And then I left there thinking, okay, that's it, Rapid Red. And then we get back home, and somehow went back to Area 51. I mean, that was, and I make up my mind pretty easily because I base my decisions a lot of times on just facts, and like the result that I want. Well, this color thing just messed me up. Um, and what helped us in the beginning was when I went to Supercell East and I saw an Area 51 there. I said, "Yep, that's it." Then I saw one a couple of days later and it was dirty, and I don't know, but then all of them were dirty, and like, okay, I'm back to 51, and my wife was like, "Pick a color and just stick with it." So we did the Area 51, and I love it. So anyway, that's it. Two-door Velocity Blue, Badlands. What am I waiting on? Okay, so it's a two-door. That's one thing. Um, Velocity Blue, so it's not going to be the color. The Badlands. There's some. Look, I think that when we released the order for the Badlands, the only two things that would not populate on the order, because I was sitting right there with them and it just wouldn't, it just said not allowed at this time, was the front modular bumper and the toe pack. So if you have a toe pack on there, that's going to get it. Modular bumper is going to get it. Right now, chips. Everybody, I mean, that's the big possibility that everyone's holding up. At one time I was hearing 2.7s were the issue, but I don't know. Maybe it'd be interesting, Dirk, to know what engine, that you have. That kind of we try to remember these things. In some cases, write them down. People say what they're waiting on. Dealer allocation is going to figure into part of this. That will be unfortunately a part of it. Yeah, Nurse AJ said 2.7 is also a must. I do agree. So yeah, if it's 2.7, Dirk, then I would say it's probably, in my opinion, it's less likely the engine is more likely to chip first, and then it would be anything else like modular bumper, toe, anything like that. Yeah, and there again, the 2.3 is an awesome engine as well, but I was just looking at the overall torque, and like I said, I was trying to get as close to a V8 as possible, even though really it's unnecessary, I should say. That the big, EcoBoost engines they perform well. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I think one of the biggest things too is we do forget, I just mentioned it, dealer allocation. That has a lot to do with it as well. Now, of course, as soon as I say that, you look at the pictures over on Bronco 6G, they have of Ice Mountain, of all those Broncos sitting there, and it's reminiscent of Dirt Mountain, of the MIC stuff. But whereas that was a manufacturer and the top thing going on, this is just a supply issue that a lot of companies are dealing with. I mean, it's crazy that we can order. We used to buy appliances when we're flipping a house. If I buy a house and say it's a 3-month project, we wouldn't order the appliances until, um, we wouldn't buy them. We didn't have to order them. We wouldn't buy them until maybe 2 weeks before we were ready to put the house on the market. Now we buy a house, we pick what we're doing, we order the appliances. I mean, it's completely changed our business because of availability in the appliances, and most of it is the semiconductor issue. So it's like, good grief. Oh, let's see. With the 2.3, I get the same gear as Sasquatch. Yeah, and like I said, and another thing, the 2.3 two-door is it's like no issues whatsoever. And I will say this about the 2.3 over the 2.7: you have a lot more aftermarket components for a 2.3 than a 2.7, and that's because of the Mustang, whole side of the Mustang thing. There's a lot of components for the 2.3 for sure. Now it's a little bit different engine, but still a lot of this stuff is, companies that make. I mean, you're not going to get in a change in pistons and everything, but I mean, just you're changing. Maybe if you do this, whatever's allowed by the planet, but some people do modifications to factory authorized tunings, so you stay within the emissions. Different bolt-on things. I mean, cosmetic. There's all kinds of little things, but there is a big aftermarket world for 2.3, so you're in good shape there. Let's see, Dawn and Rob, you have a 71 with a V8 and just want to be, yeah. Well, and here's another thing too. The EcoBoost, the technology that Ford uses in that engine is so much better than the same cubic inches or liters in the competition. They've really done a good job with the turbo system, the boosting in general. They've variable cam timing is something that I think Ford is one of the only or one of the few that uses. So they're able to really adjust timing. Of course, ignition's adjustable in every engine. It has to be. But I mean, as far as the cam in relation to intake valve and exhaust valves, they can change in relation to when they open. They change fuel. It's just crazy. Oh, I want to mention one thing that I haven't talked about, and I haven't done any research on this, but I will tell you there's 2 fuel pumps in the Broncos. Either Bronco, you have your delivery pump at the tank. You have a high pressure. I don't know if it's high velocity, but it's a high pressure fuel pump that's mounted on the engine that is driven off the camshaft, right? So there's a little arm that goes up and down. It rides on one of the lobes of I think the exhaust lobe on the 2.7. I want to say it's the right bank of a 2.7, and who knows on the last bank or the last cam lobe on a 2.3. But this is because direct injection requires an accelerated or a higher pressure because the fuel is entering into the combustion chamber at the point that you're building pressure or combustion, or you're squeezing the air, right? You're building pressure, the piston's coming up. So there's a lot of pressure needed. Some of the little engine noise, because I've had people asking, actually doing a lot of videos on, they're concerned. I'm like, don't be concerned. Like, and it's not even, but if you notice, it's consistent. Like every single morning you go out. Now, could you have a unique issue or something? Sure, anything's possible, but just standard. Part of what you're hearing is that as well. So anyway, we'll probably do a video on it one day. It's hard to do with a video because audio is hard when you're, these mics like to pick everything up, including whatever someone just dropped downstairs. Let's see here. Lemma 78 is very loud and a half deaf. So yeah. Bronco 78. It's like me. I use that selective hearing, by the way. What? I didn't hear you say that. You have to say what a few million times, and people. Anyway, Becky's got me figured out. She's probably watching right now. See, Dirk had 2050 Mustang with EcoBoost and loved it. Yeah, a lot of the Mustang guys have really done well with that 2.3, making a tremendous amount of power. The old Lima 2.3 is what I was used to, and that was a good engine, but it wasn't exactly, 2.3 EcoBoost. I mean, you could build them, but you could not do what you're doing now, right? So this is a completely different engine. All right, let's see here. Let's get rid of that one. Cool. I have to get rid of some of these comments that pop in here once in a while. Let's see. Hey, with 5 kids at home, I've gotten very good at selective hearing. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it gets you out of the to-do list too. So as you're like headed out the door, you just honestly didn't hear. Becky will be up here in a minute. Now she's figured me out. Let's see. Had it. My 2500 says it's fun, but loud all the time. Yeah, you know what? My black and gold Mustang, the one, the picture here, I'm ready to get that engine out and go with a Ford crate engine, fuel injected crate, something quiet and reliable. I think the older I get, the less of this excitement that I'm looking for. I still want performance. I just don't want to go wrenching on it myself too much. I like tinkering. Tinkering's one thing, but I don't want to have to, pull an engine out of something. And it's really not my thing anymore, right? So I want to go out and enjoy the outdoors. do what you got to do. Let's see. The eco in the name got me a discount on my insurance. Ah, there you go, Kevin. Did it really? I didn't bring that up. So we went through the options when you're getting insurance. We have the agency we deal with, really good people, but they ask which trim did you have? Oh, okay, Badlands, we've got it here. They ask about Sasquatch. Oh, geez. So when they were asking all those questions, I was thinking, oh man. So insurance is not that bad. That bad is relative to just like loud or not loud. But I'm going to ask about that. You might be on to something there. I'm definitely going to ask about that. Let's see. Let's we go in here. Anyway, well, look, folks. What do you say we wrap it up? Hour and 20 minutes. Super Bowl Sunday. That was pretty cool. I do appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight. If you have any questions, hey, type them in real quick before we go, because I don't want to just. I just don't want to just roll out of here that quick. But I appreciate every single one of you joining us tonight. That it means the world to us. Everybody's here because, hey, like tonight, there's only like one other thing on TV that you could be watching. I've just lost my football fever the last few years. And yeah, anyway, that's for another YouTube channel. Let's see. The economy. Also, it's a Big Ben. Yeah. And well, there's nothing wrong with a Big Ben at all. They just, let's see. I'm trying to think. Is your Sasquatch, Kevin? I can't trying to remember. Bouncing around these comments here. Hey, Dawn and Rob, thank you very much. Yeah, that's a lot of time. We're trying to have the guests, and I want to have some more engine guests as well, so we can start to understand a little bit more about the Eco Boost program. But I do appreciate you saying that. We just kind of talk about other stuff. I am going to go to detail about the Bronco Raptor. Let's face it, with 5,000 or so, that's the rumor being built. Maybe that number changes. It's a drop in the bucket compared to everyone that wants a Bronco, period. So you'll see one here and there, but it's not going to be huge. Give it 3 years of production, and they start obviously building the quantities then. Yeah, Kevin, no Sasquatch. So yeah, I don't know if you saw on our channel, we did a Big Ben review, Area 51 soft top, and I absolutely loved the way it drove. Like, I like the Sasquatch Badlands, but I'll tell you, if you're looking for a smoother ride, the Big Ben, and I forget the tires that were on it and the size, it was non-Sasquatch. That was one of the best driving videos. There's a short on my channel, one of the short videos, the shorts, YouTube shorts, and we were passed by a car hauler with a cyber orange Bronco up on it. And that was one of those moments, there were no Broncos in our area at that time, at least that I say there are none. There's none we knew of. I'm sure there was one or two, but we couldn't tell you we've ever seen one. So we were in the mannequin, driving it the dealer let us use it for a review, and then we're being passed by another mannequin because it didn't have any window stickers or anything. It was on a car hauler going to another dealer. The dealer later told me they knew it was going to a dealer in another city, but pretty interesting. Definitely pretty interesting. Well, let's see here. Bronco 78, plan on pulling my 78 apart shortly after Super Bowl. So Bronco 78 says he's planning on pulling his 78 apart shortly after Supercell. Going to try to pull the body off and start the frame up. Wow. Oh, Bronco 78, I am sorry to hear that. And so something to do with the Badlands. Yeah. Oh, I got you. They think it's a bit. Hey, you know what? Who knows? But Bronco 78, that's an awesome project, because there was someone in another town over, and they started this restoration, and it took forever in the beginning, but it's like they got to a point. Who knows? It could have been funds or whatever, but they got to a point where they really put this thing back together. And the guy that did the body work, I was talking to him, he said it was because they could see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? When you're tearing it apart, it's one thing. and you start putting back the suspension or the rolling chassis. But when the body got done, then suddenly they picked their paint color. They could see them driving this thing on a weekend, and they became very motivated very quick. So that project would be definitely some cool stuff going on. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate you being here. Check out some videos. I don't know, we'll get our bumper one released this week, but hopefully we do. And I appreciate you being here. Have a successful week, and look forward to talking to you next Sunday. See ya.